first board meeting or first board presentation, it's always challenging with putting up artwork, and at the elementary level, you can't really engage in deep projects with kids at this point. But I really applaud Karen Maslin. I mean, I think the artwork is absolutely tremendous. It looked great in our building. It looks even better here, so I wanted to thank her for that.
We might not take it down.
I know, it's so cute.
It is. It's perfect.
Yeah, I feel kind of wrapped
It's
around
perfect.
from all of our kids. It's
Big
great.
hugs.
Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. So our agenda, what I'd like to cover, a little bit about mission, vision, and values, goals for this year, some work that I've done with new staff and new staff to Jefferson Road, the work that we've done that I'm really proud of related to SEL, our first ever STEAM event at Jefferson Road last year, and then full day kindergarten. So because this is an early board report, and last year I think I presented in October, so it's going to be a few highlights from the spring and then some of the work that we've done this year and where we're headed. So started with our mission statement, and the picture was nice, but I actually wanted to bring this in because this was a gift at the end of the school year. It's a tradition I started 6 years ago. I have a 5th grade moving up ceremony, and it's selfish for me. It's a time for me to just have that last day of school and celebrate with our 5th grade students so I can get closure, because I just really appreciate that time with them. And they surprised me with a gift, and one of the things they presented me with was our Essence mission statement on this painting, and all of the kids signed the back, the 5th graders. This group is very special to me because these were my kindergartners my very first year at Jefferson Road. And why I thought this was so important, they could have done many different things, but they chose our mission statement because I believe for us, it's more than just words on a poster, words on the wall when you enter our school. We talk about this all of the time, and I think our kids know our mission statement. They strive to live it every day. And I was so touched to receive this, and I just thought it was something neat to share. So, being our best, doing our best, making a difference in the lives of others. Our vision at Jefferson Road School, we're always looking to instill that intrinsic motivation for kids, and they do things because they want to do it, because they know that it's the right thing to do, versus getting something that extrinsic reward. So that's something that we're always striving with our children. And then our values, which align perfectly with the district values: student-centered, supportive environment for all. That includes staff, students, families, and the community. On that path to continuous improvement, being progressive and collaborative. Our CAP goals really are, in some ways, a carryover of what we've done in the past. Looking at our PLC work, we've been embedded with that for quite a while. Unlike previous years where we allocated all of, or almost all of, our staff meeting time throughout the course of the school year to PLC work, we really strove to have some balance this year where we're going to have some time allocated for PLC work, but we're also going to have time as a staff, because we were missing that, especially with a lot of staff turnover through retirements and other things. Even this year, 4 out of 6 of our grade levels have some different dynamic compared to last year. So we need time together as a staff to come together and to celebrate, to talk about things that are happening in our school community, and that time together is very precious. So we're trying to strike that balance. So really balancing the academic with improving and capitalizing on our positive school culture. So a lot of that involves focusing on staff, and I really think it's important for new teachers or new teachers to Jefferson Road to have that time together in supporting each other and building that trusting relationship. And I view my position in terms of how can I add value to other people's lives, and it starts with really our staff. So continuing this year, having new staff meetings, which is something I started last year, which was, I think, very beneficial for me, and that time once a month to come together with new teachers and new teachers to Jefferson Road, so they feel more comfortable with some of the nuances, because yes, we are one district, but each school has its own identity, and we want everyone to feel comfortable and successful. So that time together, that face time, I think is very important for me, in addition to visiting classrooms on a regular basis. SEL, we've done a lot of work with our social emotional learning, both at Jefferson Road and as a district. And I just want to say I was very proud, along with my other elementary colleagues and district colleagues, with the work that happened both towards the middle and end of last year, and a lot that happened over the summer. So our PDLT summer professional development from Generation Ready, and then all of the elementary principals, as well as Dr. Von Brogan and other staff from the district, we participated in 4 days of pretty intense training through Cohort 6 with Greece Central Schools, and a lot of wonderful learning happened there. But to do that as an administrative team, and being able to talk through some of these really important themes and issues and topics, because I think to lead our buildings, we have to have that journey ourselves, and to have colleagues to be able to work through that with was really important to me. And we're continuing that. So many of us are going to the SANES conference in October. And our SEL team, we continue to have regular meetings throughout the year, and some of those outcomes included common books that we wanted the entire school to be immersed in. And one I wanted to highlight in particular, because I thought it was really powerful, was the book Emmanuel's Dream. And it highlights the life of Emmanuel Ofasu-Yaboa from Ghana, and he was born with a deformed leg. And in certain countries, what the children learned was that in different cultures in different countries, people with disabilities, that can mean different things. And in some places, it can be a real burden on a family. But his story was very inspirational, and kind of the highlight was in the year 2001, he rode 400 miles across Ghana on his bicycle to raise awareness in his country regarding people with disabilities. And it was just a great story for our kids to be immersed in, to share that book and bring it home with families. And again, that was a result of our collective work with our SEL committee. And I just love this quote from Emmanuel Ofasu-Yaboa: "In this world, we are not perfect. We can only do our best." We're continuing with class meetings, which are extremely powerful. And some of the things I think that we accomplished at the beginning of the year as a staff. So I took one of the activities from our Generation Ready work over the summer, the What's Your Name activity, and brought that in with our staff. And I saw what I really enjoyed. I saw our staff bringing activities like that and bringing it to their students. So in class meetings, discussions around where their names came from and the background behind that was really enjoyable for me to see that in action, and just that shared learning. But the class meetings, I just love that time that they take. It's specific time and it's different. So teachers were able to own it, and some do it every day, some do it maybe every other day, but that time together to build relationships, to connect, I think is incredibly valuable. And they just do a wonderful job with it. And some teachers are still on the path of learning how to do that a little bit better, but everyone is doing it and they're trying it, and it's been really impactful. Another great outcome from our SEL committee, these positive postcards that we created. And I want to thank Annie Sanford, one of our wonderful teachers. She did a lot of the artwork and creativity behind this. But these are postcards that our committee decided would be really neat for teachers and staff to have in their hands. Unlike an email or even a phone call, this is something that is mailed home to students, and I think parents receiving this, it's a different way to celebrate the great work of our students, and just a real positive thing. So this is new for this year, and we're excited to put these in the hands of our teachers. Part of last year's work, which rolled into this year, and it was very purposeful, our SEL committee, we love this book, The Book of Mistakes. But we thought introducing the book at the beginning of the year and setting the tone that mistakes are an important part of learning, and to start the year off with that mindset, I think that's really important for our students. And the book is, if you've never read the book, I encourage you to do so. It's a cute book, but it shows how mistakes can often lead to greater and greater levels of creativity. And the whole theme around mistakes are important, and they're an integral part of learning. And actually your brain grows when you make a mistake and you realize you made a mistake and you go to correct that and fix that. Your brain grows. And it's been enjoyable for me to visit classrooms, to read the book with kids, and to process that through. And again, they will bring the book home and share that with their families. We're continuing our learning with restorative practices. It's something that I try to do in my interactions with students, thinking about if something happens, going back to mistakes, if we make a mistake, that's okay, but how do we repair the relationship and move forward in a positive direction? And this year we have 2 folks from Jefferson Road that are going to be trained in terms of restorative practices. They're attending a Train the Trainer session that's going to be offered this fall. So even more immersion and training around that so we can do a better job with that as we go on through the school year. We've also been able to, with our PTSA, and I know Teresa's here and she's just been wonderful in terms of championing this work around restorative practices, connecting us with people like Kit Miller, and there's a really nice, strong relationship that's building and developing, so I thank her for that. This was something neat that's new this year, a book a day program. So our librarian, Emily Sweeney, she reached out to staff and she asked them if they would be interested in being part of this book a day program. And if teachers were in and wanted to participate, what she does is on Mondays, she hands over 5 books for a read aloud that teachers will utilize each day. And she gets to choose the topics, and because she owns that library and she knows all of the latest books that are coming in, and she knows grade levels and what's appropriate and what would be engaging, we have 15 teachers that have signed up for this. So on Monday they get their books, and then on Friday they turn the books in, and then on the next Monday they get a new set of books. So there's a lot of work that's done, but she is so excited about it to get these books in the hands of our teachers and our kids. And just a variety of genre, learning about different cultures. There's books about female scientists, cultural differences. I mean, it's just really wonderful work, and it's hard work, but she loves it. And then STEAM Day, our first ever STEAM Day. Again, would not have been possible without the support of our PTSA, especially Carrie Ovando, who championed this, and she did a lot of work. This was over a year in the making. We had collaborative relationships with RIT and U of R and college students coming in to run booths and provide experiences for our students. I tried to do a lot of posting on Twitter during that time, and it was so fun for our students. And I just love the fact that the college students that were there were many females that were there, people from diverse backgrounds, and for our kids to be able to see that the science, technology, engineering, I mean, it crosses so many different levels. And it was a wonderful experience. It's something that we're looking to continue every other year opposite of our international days. So just a few highlights and pictures from that. But it was a wonderful event. And I wanted to end with full day kindergarten because I know that was no small undertaking on the part of the district. I mean, from financial to people resources, that's something that I was engaged in my very first year, part of that study in terms of full day kindergarten. And to see the program start last year, and we don't have a lot of hardcore data yet, but I did want to take some stock in terms of what the teachers thought of the program and how they see a difference with the students in first grade that are in front of them. And some of the things they highlighted as first graders, these students, they seem to have deeper relationships with each other, which makes sense because they've had double the amount of time together. They know those building routines very well. In previous years, first grade teachers would take a great deal of time talking about what are the procedures and expectations for recess, how to get your lunch card, where to go through the lunch line. There's a lot of, you could see in the first graders, they were a little nervous about that. It's a big environment. There's a lot of procedures that they have to involve themselves with. They don't even take any time. They don't need to take the time anymore because the kids know what to do and they just do it. So it's such a natural transition for them. And they've also noted that early in the school year, the kids just have more stamina for the full day, more stamina in their writing, and more solid fundamental and foundational skills in mathematics. So we're looking forward to seeing what the other data yields as the year and the years go on, but it's just been such a wonderful program. And I think we're going to see a lot of positives, and it's just exciting to see how those students fare in 2, 3, 4, 5 years and beyond when they get to high school, what the impact of the full day kindergarten program has. So that's what I wanted to share, and just wanted to see if you had any questions for me.
I just have a quick question. You mentioned something under social emotional about getting together with Greece. Could you give us more information as to what you did? What was the topic?
It was all under culturally responsive education, and it's similar to the work with Generation Ready, but that was a day and a half of work that we did over the summer. This was 4 days. It involved districts from around Monroe County as well as the Monroe County Sheriff's Department. And I think the power of it was a lot of self-discovery internally and being able to unpack that with our colleagues, but also hearing from people in other districts and people from the sheriff's office. They had a really interesting and unique perspective on it. And I think they really appreciated hearing from the school standpoint some of the work that we're doing around this and some of the challenges that all of us are facing. And they have their own unique challenges. But having it embedded 4 full days, I mean, it was something we are invested in, and it was voluntary. We did not have to do it, but doing it as an administrative team, as an elementary group, was very, very powerful. But a lot of it was that self-discovery, and as I said earlier, if we're going to lead our schools, we have to first do the work ourselves and uncover things within our own experience and our own growth, and that makes it easier to share things with staff.
Great, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Shawn, what are some of the other data points that you'll be looking at through the year for your first graders?
Certainly foundationally with reading, to see how they've worked on and mastered letter sound correspondence, our Fountas and Pennell reading assessments. It'll be interesting to see how that's transferred as far as their reading growth. But also, thankfully, we not only have the Wilson Foundations program in kindergarten, but this year, thanks to Melanie and financially, I know it's no small undertaking, but to have that also continue in first grade. So that's a lot of work and learning on the part of our teachers, but having that connected experience from kindergarten now to first grade with that beginning foundational phonological phonemic awareness, handwriting, things like that. It seems basic and easy, but it's meaty work, and it's important work. But what I love most, when you walk into a kindergarten classroom, they are enjoying the activities. They're very developmentally appropriate. It's not stressful for them. They're learning and they're enjoying the experience. And for me, it's an easy thing to champion because I've used that program as a teacher, and I found a great deal of success. And what I love about the Wilson Foundations program is going back 15, 16, 17 years ago when I used it, it's fundamentally exactly the same as it was then. So, good things that work continue to work.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I do. I want. How did the idea of the Book a Day Club or Book a Day effort? Is that it, right?
Yeah, the Book a Day program in the library.
That sounds like a lot of thought, a lot of time to come up with that many books for that many teachers. I mean, how did that come about?
So Emily shared with me, so when we think about our PLCs, often we just think about our classroom teachers, but the PLCs are in special areas as well. And that's something that the librarians together had talked about. And Emily, she actually got the idea from her colleague at Thornell Road. So again, she's not isolated. She's working with other people, and they are talking about these things. And so that shared load, I think, really helps. But she was so excited. We had talked about that before the school year started, and she had the stacks out. I thought, this is amazing. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Shawn. We
Thank you.
appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shawn.